Two armed home invaders played stupid games and won stupid prizes. Let's take a look. What's happening, guys? My name is Nick. Welcome back to the S2 Strategic Defense channel. Today, we are going to be taking a look at a video of a recent incident where two armed home intruders ambushed a homeowner as he was walking in, and they found out that it's not going to be so easy. Let's take a look at the video, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it.
The shootout happened Saturday night around 7:30. The homeowner walks to the front door, grabbing for his keys. Two intruders jump the front gate. One intruder runs up to the front door. The Mid-City man throws his tea, pulls out his gun, and starts shooting.
And I know I felt someone run up behind me.
When shots are fired, the intruders disperse. One fires back, scrambling to hop over the side fence. The other hops over the front gate and runs away. After the attack, the family filed a report with the LAPD Olympic Division.
All right, kudos to that guy. Very nicely done. So what did that gentleman do well? Well, the first thing he did well was he had his firearm on person. A pet peeve of mine when I see people who have their license to carry or the concealed carry permit and don't actually carry their firearm. You don't know when you're going to need it. So even if you're at home, best bet is to have your firearm readily available, and the only way it's constantly readily available if it's on person. Number two, in the interview, he states that his wife and his 5-month-old baby are inside the home. So he had to prioritize that first, right? He did a great job of keeping the fight outside, not allowing the intruders to get inside. If they got inside, it's a whole different problem. His people are now probably going to be in the way. They're in harm's way. It's going to be havoc in there. Keep the fight away from them as much as you possibly can. So he did a good job as far as that. Number three, something that I loved watching this. He threw the guy's his own coffee in the robber's face. It created a moment where he could draw his pistol and put it to work, right? I have nonstop said this for many, many years in all of my classes. Earn the right to fight with your pistol, okay? This guy did a great job. He created that opportunity where he can get his gun out and get it into the fight. Number four, one of the best things that he possibly ever did was just his mindset, right? He was willing to put up resistance from the word go, right? He thought about this. He had security cameras up there, so he's got early detection and hopefully even deterrence in some regard. But at the very least, when he walked in, he was minding his own business, opening the door, holding on his coffee, and when things happen, he was ready to engage the fight right away. So he's mentally, at the very least, been there in his own head, and that allows the body to follow, right? So great job in being prepared. But there are some things that he could have done better. Let's take a look at what those could be. So what could this guy have done better? Well, number one, I get the fact that he threw the coffee in the robber's face. That part is an A+. He created the opportunity where he can use his firearm for the fight. But you got to keep something in mind. What if it's hot enough where it burns your hand and you can't properly handle your firearm? Or what if it's something that's got some viscosity to it, get your hand wet where you can't handle the firearm? Again, these are all things that worked out just fine over here, but in general, we want to make sure that our strong hand, our fighting hand, is in best possible condition. It's why in my classes I tell people, look, don't have your keys, your phone, coffee, your cheeseburgers, any of that stuff in your firing hand. That is your fighting hand. You need that ready and able to fight on a go, all right? The second thing, let's go back to the video, take a look here. What's going on with his firearms handling skills? Now that gun is doing all kinds of Macarena over there. It's bouncing around between his hands. He's got his strong hand perfectly fine on it, and he's pressing the trigger, sending rounds down. But his support hand is climbing all over the slide, and then sometimes at the back of the slide. If this fight had to extend any further, there's a good probability that he was going to induce a malfunction like a double feed or just put the damn gun out of battery, and he's going to have a problem at that point, okay? Again, it worked out fine over here, but that doesn't mean it's like that's not the standard, right? We need to have a better standard than that. And so he's lucky that that fight kind of ended the way it did, because had those guys stopped and turned around and he had to keep going, that gun was coming out of battery real quick, okay? The third thing that I want to point out to you guys is this. So one robber jumps over the front fence. The main guy actually turns the corner, goes around the vehicle, and then escapes through the side yard, right? The homeowner chases that guy, right? He goes around the corner, around his own car. Had that bad guy stopped right there, turned around and started pressing rounds out, the homeowner didn't have his gun into the fight, meaning he was muzzled down at that point. He was going to eat brass. He didn't even take regard of using threat cover principles, using his own vehicle, right? So he just kind of blasted past it. Now again, I get it. Heat of the moment, stress. This is not a tactician. He's not a SWAT guy. He's not a defensive tactics instructor, any of that stuff. But these are all reasons to train, right? This is why we do scenario-based training, force-on-force simulations and that kind of a thing, right? So between those handful of things, number one, just making sure that the strong hand is ready to go. Number two, making sure that your firearms handling skills are on par and not, at the very least, inducing a malfunction. And then number three, having things like the threat cover principles. Those three things, honestly, are huge in any self-defense situation. It happens that it worked out just fine over here, but again, that's not the standard of entry over here, right? We want to armchair quarterback this thing, learn from it, and figure out ways that we can improve so that way we don't make those same exact mistakes. Overall, kudos to this guy. He did a good job, kept himself safe, kept his property safe, kept his family who's inside the house safe, and everything worked out just fine. Now, there's been no reports of any injuries, or we don't know if the bad guys actually ate any of the brass, but it doesn't make a difference. They're not coming back for round two, I can guarantee you that much, all right? Yes, there's things that you can improve on, but I always keep that factor in mind that, hey, you know, armchair quarterback, hindsight's 20/20. I get all that part of it, but that, again, we want to learn from it as much as we possibly can. Something else that I want to point out to you guys is this. Now, reportedly, he sent about 5 to 8 rounds in that entire engagement. He lives in California. He's got a 10-round magazine capacity. Had this fight extended any further, he was out of ammo, period, okay? That's why I don't believe in magazine capacity bans, okay? I think it's a stupid thing. You don't know what you're going to need, okay? Now here you have a guy who's just minding his own business at home, holding a coffee or his boba tea or whatever he's got going inside the house to go spend his evening with his family. You got two dirtbags who try and break in and try and take advantage of a critical moment from him, right? A vulnerable moment. He was able to use his firearm, equalize the situation, diffuse the situation. Luckily, none of those rounds went anywhere and hurt anybody else. And it worked out for him. Why should that guy get penalized with a round count because of a state like California that has a 10-round magazine capacity limit, right? So pretty stupid there. So glad it worked out. Guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment down below. Let me know that you like these types of incident reviews. I'll do a few more for you. It's not really my thing, but they're starting to get kind of interesting. So I want to share some stuff with you guys, okay? So please let me know if you have any comments. Share the video, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.